overwhelmed with being on a catwalk because I'm a tech nerd, so this is totally the first time. But bear with me, it's good that I will not walk, so I cannot slip. So I'm so happy to be here to deliver my point of view in how technology, fashion, and sustainability totally fits together. And my name is Linda Pimmeshofer, and I have spent the last decade working for Microsoft, focusing on technology and fashion, looking into how to be more efficient with your own resources as a fashion company, but also the resources of the planet, and be more relevant to your customer at the same time, because everything is about data. So after spending time with brands like H&M, Farfetch, and Louis Vuitton, just to give you the stretch, I have recognized that even though cool tech can deliver extraordinary customer experience, the biggest value sits in the back end, delivering or operating with an intelligent and connected supply chain, when you don't produce products that will never sell. So that is actually what I am working with now. After leaving Microsoft, I'm working with retailers that wants to emphasize their data, understanding how to solve the problems today, but also meet the customer of tomorrow. So the problem to solve, I hope I preach for, I hope you agree with me, this is the biggest one, right? We have a fashion industry that stands for 20% of the global water pollution, 10% of the carbon emission, and operating in a model with a planned overproduction with 40%. I hope everyone is not doing that, but still, it's like a standard. So I think it's like 45 billion of fashion items that is being produced every year and never worn. And this is not only bad for the planet, it's really bad for the margins and the business. So why is this? Of course, we have this broken operation model where we produce clothing in blindness without really considering demand, not looking at the customer data, and then we throw a bunch of marketing money on it, trying to sell it, trying to buy relevance and reach, and it's getting harder and harder and really expensive, actually. And when we fail, we discount. And then we are losing money, and actually we are destroying our brand value as well. So this is not a good model. Then we, of course, have these new players coming in, producing with the help of technology in a speed we have never seen before. Shein is launching between 2,000 and 10,000 new styles every day. It's 30 times more than the players we call fast fashion. So, of course, and then we have players like Amazon aspiring to duplicate the Shein model, making us to look forward a future when the problem is duplicated. So, and then, of course, it's easier to create a brand now. We have these different platforms that make everyone able to create a brand in hours, with supply, sales channels, everything. And we have the new channels. We can buy everywhere now, right? And this is not only a problem for pushing the conversion. It's also a problem when you want to be data-driven, because it's really hard and complex to understand your customer of today, because the customer are everywhere. And if you want to predict your demand, you need that data, right? So this picture makes it even more complex. And just to understand these new channels, TikTok Shop, I don't know if you have it in UK. You do. Because in US, they are outperforming Shein already after 18 months. And Shein was the biggest one, so It's really like amazing to see the speed, but also a bit terrifying. And brands like, it's a jeans brand in US called Pacsand. They have sold 500,000 of jeans in 18 months through their creators. So what's coming with this channel is that it's not owned channel anymore. Everyone can be a seller. So it's pushing a new demand, it's pushing a new customer behavior, because instead of intentional, you are totally spontaneous, and they are adding a whole new amount of people that can be sellers. So we have a problem, and who is responsible for solving it? We have been talking about that we need to have a conscious consumer, but if we think that the consumer will change this, we are set up for failure, right? Because otherwise Shein wouldn't be that successful if we cared. And I added also Vinted here, because Vinted is the biggest marketplace right now. It's really cool. And then we could talk about that customers do care, because Vinted stands for something with recycled and everything. But Vinted is also the biggest seller of Shein. So it's not really true, right? So what we can learn from this is that customers cares about price. That's for sure, first and foremost. I believe, and I'm from Sweden, and we actually care about sustainability as well. But what the numbers shows and what the actions of the customer shows is that it's price first. So it's up to the industry. And it's opportunity, because it's an opportunity to not only do good, because this is the right way to do, but it's an opportunity to save money and actually build a brand. Because if you are good at that, customer will care when you compare to different brands, I'm sure. And the how, or the solution, spells technology. And that's why I love to talk about this. Because the technology of today can truly help how we operate the business. Everything from planning, assortment with the demand in mind, to designing and producing without waste or without sending samples all over the world that we do. So I have a picture here with a project I did with H&M. They were sending 10 tons of samples a week between Sweden and the designers and producers in Bangladesh. Not good when you want to be sustainable, but technology can solve it really easily. So today they don't. You can also design and sell before you produce. This is Salvatore Ferragamo, maybe wrong spelled. Björn Borg and Lagerfeld, they are doing it, every one of them. And Shein is doing that also, but then they are doing everything wrong. But, but technology can help. And with the same technology, you can also create this amount of communication and content that you really need to be relevant to your customers without all the trips and the cost of models. And you can also be more actually relevant, because you can have different avatars and different styles depending on where you communicate with your customer. And of course, we have the ID coming onto the clothes that makes the clothing, that gives the clothing a voice, actually, and the clothing can speak their own, tell their own story. And just to emphasize on the quality of the AI now, and if you use AI and digital twin, I just wanted to just give you a hint of where the technology are, because this is a video I have heard so many times when I'm speaking with the creative people that AI is not there. We cannot show AI created content to our customers. But this is created without any physical product, not even a photo. This is totally digital created video. And I think the technology are, there. So, just to go down in a bit deep down in different scenarios that I see we can play a big role when we use data and technology. So, forecasting, planning, to get rid of the overproduction. And starting with a really boring picture, but just to emphasize the end-to-end process, and the big value is that if you are in pre-season, looking at your data internally, externally, I will go down in different types of data we can look at, to take the right decision here, we don't need to spend so much time with, reallocating and doing all the manipulation that we need to do today. So it's a big value here if we do it right in the first place. And also we don't need to discount so much. And we have the internal data, of course. You should start with looking at what are they buying already and what are they returning, a really important data point. But also you can look at others, trends, other brands, and everything out there. You should look at your competitors, the material they use, the colors they use, the prices they have, and also, of course, comparing to the customer interests. This is data out there. It's so many tools. I just brought one. But no one or too little people are using this type of data that's out there already. And you can also actually collect data. So this is just an example. We did, it was a spring collection launch. Do you recognize the date? COVID, right? So the problem was we need to launch the spring collection and it's COVID. What do we do? And I was working for Microsoft, so of course we did a digital launch. And it was cool, and it was, some PR, marketing, they were showing up in new ways. But the biggest value was all the data that they could collect in how the different parts of the collection resonated with the audience. So when they should decide the amount of the different ones to produce, they had the data, right? And this is a big learning. And it's tools out there where you also can engage with your customer, or actually this tool also have, you can select your audience that you want. So you don't have to really ask your customer, but you can ask the right audience, their interest in different products. So really go out and collect the data, because this data is key. So this is one theme. Another big problem, I think, is the returns. And we have been talking about returns so many times, because it's bad also for the consumer, right? You don't want to return. If you have done an online order and you get a package home, you don't want to go back with it. So it's bad for us as consumers, but it's really bad because it's so costly for a brand, and it tends to come back so late. So when it's coming back, it's already onto sale. So you're losing so much money, and it costs the planet a lot because it needs to be transported. And it's an interesting, actually, problem to be solved, because you can solve it in so many ways. So of course, you can use AI. It's a lot of solutions out there. I like this one. As a consumer, you just give your height, weight, and waist, and the retail backend will get 160 different measurements that they can match to the sizes of the garment, and then you can show it in different ways. But the solution is AI and digital twin. Acne Studios, they are using the same technology, creating a digital twin of the garments. So really to see that it's true to size. And when you have this as a digital twin, you can also, of course, dress your customer's avatar with that. And you can say, okay, this will be a bit wide, or maybe you will not be able to use the buttons. It will be like this. So you can really support your customers with using technology in this area. Another interesting thing on the market now, this is totally new, coming actually from a guy that quit H&M because he didn't want to work with something that pollute the world, as it is. So he has started with this open tool where it's called Ecom ID, and it's a sharing, you can say, of measurements. So all this is brands that is already on it, and every brand that's on this platform, they are open to share the data about the customer sizes. So if I am a Patagonia customer and I go into Gap, maybe it's not really the same, to Adidas, I will get, because you are using medium in Patagonia, you maybe should have large in. So it's a green nudging platform, you can say. And as soon as you also click home two of the different size, two products of the different size, this platform also, of course, inform you that this is a bad thing to do, and let us help you to find the right size. So it is an interesting way of utilizing data, and in this case, it's a collaboration between brands, and I think it's beautiful. But the solution, as I said, can really look differently, and this is interesting, because if we see that the problem when you are an e-com customer, you don't have someone to ask. If you're like, okay, you know that you often you have, it's a bit tight over the breast or something, it's perfect if you can ask, right? So in this way, they are connecting the e-com customer with the people working in a store. If you have a store that is busy, this is a bad idea, right? But it's often, if you are a bit high-end brand, that they have time. So in this case, they can ask the questions, they can serve you, they can go to the garment, and they can show, and they can actually also dress themselves. I have a customer in Sweden, or it's Danish, bestseller. They have done this, and they have so engaged store members. So the store members go in and like, I am a medium, and this how it's look on me. So, and they see also that these stores that have these great store associates that really do this, they have increased the returns to the same amount as the physical store, from 30 to 6. So it's really interesting in, you know, the solution can really look differently. But we talked about opportunities also, because it's not only saving money and solving the problems. You can also create business in new ways. So I brought two examples actually from Sweden that I love. This is Singular Society. What they wanted was to not push more products, but find a way to make products that matters. Products that you really want to have, to a quality that will last. But quality as we know it tends to be expensive. So how can you deliver high quality to affordable price? That's hard, right? So what they have been doing is that they have created a subscription model. So they are, when they see a product that they want to produce, like cashmere, they are great at cashmere, they go to the best one to produce the best cashmere. And they put the price as production price. So and they are totally transparent. So you pay for production price, but to be able to pay for production price, you need to be a member. But the membership are really low, but because they want you to be a member, and they have like really created this community that people want to be a part, be included in that community, not only because it's cheap and it's great quality, but also because they have this mission of not producing products we don't need. So I think it's really interesting, and actually you should go in. I think you can go in also here at singularsociety.com, I think, just to look at it, because it's interesting and they earn money. They tried in the beginning. They hide this store because they know that if people are buying, they are actually losing money. They are only earning the month that you are not buying, actually. So, but now they are growing, and they have one store in the city center of Stockholm now, and customers are really happy. And that is interesting to see because that is the key, right? They need to have loyal customer because it's the membership that they earn money from. So interesting thing. And this is a bit the same, but the community is around horses and people that loves horses and rides horses and compete with horses. Amico and friends. So the big difference is that they are not only producing themselves, they are also adding other brands that also are considering sustainability and quality. But it's also a subscription model, and you can buy, if you're a member, you can buy to a lower price, and the quality are key. And of course, these guys have second hand and everything, because the product should be lasting long time. So I think it's interesting to see. Another thing tech can do is, of course, optimizing circularity and the new business models, not only this, but also the resell, the redesign, and all of that. Because we need to go into that space, right? But it is costly, and the margins are small. So we see business coming up, but it's not so many that is earning money, right? But we have this new technology coming with the EU legislation that every produced garment will have an ID. And that gives the garment a voice, but it also opens up a lot of new possibilities around services connecting to that product. So everything from how to dress it, or how to take care of it, or how to resell it with just one click. And it's already out there. I brought an example that is old just to see that it's already brands doing this. We have a Swedish brand called Houdini that is a skiing brand. And I was with them 7 years ago starting to give all the garments an ID, just to track them, because they are tracking durability. That is key for them because they have so high quality. And in this case, they wanted to empower their resell market because you want customers to resell, but you want also to have the quality in the pictures. You really want to be on top of that business model as well. And also talking about resell, I just wanted to bring this example from Sweden, another Swedish brand owned by H&M. But what they wanted to do, they saw that this market are growing, and they also wanted to, of course, bring green values to their brand, but even more, they wanted to add the, how do you say, the local curation to the assortment, but more edgy one, because they have edgy, they have a young audience, they are in the cool areas, and they have these cool customers. So they wanted to add, an edgy twist on top of their main assortment. So what they have done is they created an app that you as a customer that has some cool, whatever brand, you can take a picture and you can ask if you can resell it at their store. And the store manager are managing which garments that is taking in, because they know their customers, right? So they are the ones that curates the store assortment with these second-hand garments. And when you come in, the digital does it all. And when you sell, you get 40% of the commission. And that is pretty good in this business model. And what they see is, of course, they earn some money on it, but what it really does is that it brings in people to the store, more people to the store, because it stresses this fear of missing out, because secondhand is only one piece, right? So people tend to go in and check that area all the time. So it's really cool. And with technology, you can really manage this easily instead of what you see today. That tends to be manual. So, some final thoughts. I think I have talked about this a bit, but what we have been seeing in the retail tech fashion space has been cool technologies, and sometimes the value lays in something else. So I just want to emphasize that with bringing some of the coolness in, like this digital pop-up with only digital garments, and with the app you can order it home. And yes, this will create some selfies when you are going to Hong Kong and you have never seen it before. But is this really a customer experience? Is this what technology should do to the industry? Or do we really want to be served by a digital human when we want help? Maybe the young people want it, that can say, they can choose their favorite avatar or favorite hero. We see it in the pharmacist. We have tried to put for the kids, superhero that they can talk to, and they open up even more than a human being. So of course, it's scenarios, but if you know your customer, you know if it's, if they want to speak with a human or a digital human. Because we need to consider what is a customer experience. And I brought Lush because I think they are brilliant. You don't see technology there at all. They are really, truly storytellers. They are engaged. They are helping you all the time when you come in. But because it's so many products there, and it's so many stories around these products, they have digital tools that can help them, so they can tell the stories. And if we ask a consumer what a great customer experience is, it is actually, first and foremost, this engaged, knowledgeable people that serves you. That is what we like. And I think this is a great example of that. And we need to consider that when we talk about technology and customer experience at the same time. And another example is Trader Joe's in US, where we gladly stand in line without complaining, and it's totally manual, and it takes so long time, but it's an experience, right? So, just ending up, when we talk about technology, solving problems, we need to start with the problem to solve. And I will end up with a great example of how you can work with technology. So another Swedish brand owned by H&M, they also have a young audience. And they came to me and they wanted to operate the physical store as you do the online store. And I am a tech nerd and not a retailer, so I okay, so what do you mean? So they said, it's both how you communicate with your customers, because in the e-com you have the reviews, you have the recommendations, you have so much. You communicate with the customer all the time. And in the store you don't, right? So it's both that, but it's also how to operate, how to manage the stock, how to discount, because in online you have the dynamic pricing. So you don't have these discounts twice a year. Because you dynamically manage your stocks. So what we did was to create the best customer experience or the best shopping companion for this young audience in their phone, because they're already on their phone all the time. And when they are logged into the store and they scan a product, they get this dynamic pricing, but because they are logged in, we can make it personal pricing. So we take the AI for the dynamic pricing, and we add the loyalty points and also green points. So if you're a conscious member or conscious buyer, you have green points, and so you see your price, you see the online price, and in this case you only see your price, but if you are a conscious buyer, you also get the green price. So you have a dynamic price. You also have hidden offers. And that is the pieces that the store really wants to get rid of course. If you scan it, you get a hidden offer. And they are so happy because they want it, right? They scanned it. So you don't have this discount area that is not looking good. and it's really not good for your brand, but this is like making a customer really happy. But you